What's up, everybody? This is Devin White, linebacker for the Tampa Bay Buccaneers. You're listening to the LCC Network. Go Bucks.
Hey everyone, welcome to the Commissioner's Clubhouse on the LCC Network for our Pro Bowl and our Pro Bowl episode, but also our little Critter Bowl recap and DDI Championship recap. With me today, we have mixed it up. In fact, we aren't just mixing it up. We are basically, like in a weird way, like kind of like merging two shows almost tonight. But I have got none other than the champion himself, a Hall of Fame champion that is Cameron Nugent, my brother, on the podcast with me. Just the two of us. What's going on, man?
What is up? I'm just so happy to be here. I haven't been here in like 2 years now?
And yeah, something like that. I want to say you came on like 1 week, one random episode in the off season.
Random week, yeah. But yeah, I'm happy to be back.
Nice.
It's
man.
awesome.
I know it's our first time just recording the two of us, so
I know. It's like Nugent. It's like a Nugent podcast.
yeah, it's like the Brady Bunch, but the Nugent Bunch. We just need Dad on here.
Yeah, for real. Then we got the trifecta.
Yeah, it'll be two champions and a guy who loses in the playoffs every year.
A guy who's literally won 3 games in the league's history.
In 12 years. 3 wins.
In the playoffs.
In the playoffs, yeah.
That blows my mind.
It blows my mind.
And then me, on the other hand, not trying to flex or anything, but 5 championship appearances.
Yeah, I don't know what you did to deserve this much luck, but you have like
so much luck.
I don't know, like our grandma Annie must have like been praying or something for you to win. And
I told her to pray. I told her to pray like mid game, and then that's kind of weird. Is like when the comeback started to happen. So I don't know if that had an effect or anything.
Well,
but I think it might have.
Everyone, find yourself a Catholic grandmother, and there you go.
Not only a Catholic grandmother, but one that's Irish.
Yeah, that's
the
right.
luck of the Irish.
That's right. But yeah, so I guess it's going to be a pretty straightforward podcast. I don't know, honestly, don't even know if it's going to be that long of an episode, really. But
it's really just a recap, right?
Kind of a recap, and then our Pro Bowl predictions and so forth. So let's get it started with our inaugural DDI Championship. For those who don't know, it's a developmental draft invitational. Basically, the 12 teams who missed the playoffs got to compete like a consolation bracket, kind of like a loser's playoff in a way. But we have a developmental draft for the first time this offseason. So these guys will be able to draft one player who is not entering the NFL draft pool in 2022. So it could be like a freshman. It could even be a high school player if they wanted to get really ballsy, but that is too much of a risk. So yeah, that's what the DDI is.
That would actually be insane.
Yeah. It's I can't imagine drafting a high school player. Like, you know how many times
Could you imagine them? Could you imagine them drafting a high school player like at working out? They go into a college, they blow up, they get in the NFL, and they become the leading scorer. Could you imagine?
First of all, it's going to be. You're talking about like 4 to 8 years from now. Like if they're a freshman in high school, that's even really more ballsy.
Hey, Pat, would you do it if? All right, let's say you don't win a playoff game for 8 years, but on that 8th year, all right, it finally pays off. All right?
Yes.
You win the championship. Do you do it?
Yeah, of course. Are you kidding me? If I knew for a fact this guy was going to be that good. You know what? Maybe Jameson should draft Caroline. Well, he's not in the development. Well, he can do it next year. I mean, she'll be eligible still. She'll be 2. Draft Caroline. She might be the first female NFL player, and then he can draft her.
Hell yeah. Jameson, please, you have to do that now. Do it. Do it for the people.
That's right. Do it for the kids of America. Literally.
Oh my god, that'd be so mind-blowing if she actually turned into an NFL player.
But our DDI championship was between Le Batard Lobos. Here we go.
Yeah, that's sick.
We got the Lebatard Lobos going against I act like this game's going on now. This game is obviously over, but played against Jiu-Jitsu Jesus. It's Matt Legg, who has 2 actual championships under his belt. Alex we hyped him up so much in the offseason on this podcast, and
dude,
rightfully
we had a
so.
game of the week. We had a game of the week with me and him, and then he did not win another game the entire season.
It was a curse. It was literally a curse.
That's crazy.
But you know what? His team actually performed pretty well throughout the whole DDI. I mean, he even broke 200 in the second round when he played Slapdicks. He beat him 201 to 171. Then he beat Eastside Brawlers 167 to 148. And then he beat Jiu-Jitsu Jesus in the championship game.
I want to say this about Matt and
I don't think Matt set his lineup actually the entire time.
He didn't set his lineup the entire DDI tournament. He literally he said something in the chat like no one gives a fuck about that, and then he makes it to the championship.
He started
literally,
Justin
he hasn't
Fields.
had the starting quarterback in 2 weeks.
Oh my god, dude!
He's been on COVID for 2 weeks.
He broke 200 the week before the DDI, like
without a QB, just straight up without a QB.
I think he actually would have beat the entire league that week. Maybe no, maybe not. I think BP may have scored more, but like other than BP, like I'm pretty sure he outscored everyone else. It's crazy, man. But yeah,
but shout out to Alex.
But yeah, Alex deserved it. I mean, he actually was trying, and I'm interested to see how it goes. Like, I think it's gonna. I wish I was
about to say I'm very
someone.
curious. I'm very curious to see who he takes.
Yeah, Alex is a Tennessee fan, so I'm interested to see, does he get a Tennessee player, or is he like, all right, screw my fandom, I'm going to go get who I perceive to be the best player.
Yeah, for sure. I think Alex is a smart guy, and I think he's going to take, whoever he thinks that is going to help his team.
Yeah, I do too. I don't think he's going to necessarily. I mean, maybe
there's not going to be bias. I mean, unless there's a Tennessee kid that's going to be insane, then sure.
Yeah. I haven't finished making the offseason schedule yet, but I am anticipating this probably would take place in April or May. It's got to be sometime after we're 100% sure on which players are not going to the NFL. So that way no one accidentally drafts someone who's going to be in the NFL this coming year. So it'll have to be probably around or after the NFL draft. So that's why I'm saying probably April or May.
It's so crazy. Like, the off season goes by so quick, and then we finally get the regular season, and then we go through that in the playoffs, and I swear it's in the blink of an eye.
It is crazy. You know how many
17 weeks flew by.
I think if you include every podcast episode I've ever recorded, I think this is the 157th episode. That's how long we've been doing this. But all of that blurs together. Like, from the episode 1 to episode 157, it feels like just yesterday Isaac was in the show with me, but he's been gone 2 years. He's not even in the league anymore.
Dang. Rip Isaac.
Rip Isaac, man. That's right. But
it's crazy. This whole thing started 4 years ago.
Yeah.
Wild stuff. And I was on speakerphone.
Yeah, our first episode, if anyone ever wants to go digging for that, it was towards the end of what year was that? 2016? 2017?
2017. It was November 29th, 2017.
Yep. Cameron actually has that tattooed on his shoulder. No, I'm just kidding.
I'm so weird about dates, y'all. You know me. I memorize literally every single date of everything.
He doesn't miss a birthday.
Tell me a birthday. I probably know it.
Yeah, literally.
I met you once. You told me your birthday once. All right. I'll never forget it.
Oh, man. But, no. So we've been doing this a while. It all kind of blurs together. So I'm sure, there are times the offseason drags when we've got nothing to do. Literally, I want to say March is one of the most boring months of the year. I would say free agency happens then, doesn't it? Yeah, that's true. But then you're left with that anticipation, I want to get that player. I want to get that player. Or, I want to see that player play. And you still got 5 more months after
Speaking of the off season, I know this is off topic, but I remember I think this might have been the time I was on y'all's podcast, or I like sent in like a audio or something, and I said Cam Newton was going to be the 2019 MVP, and he played 2 games.
He played 2 games.
He played 2 damn games.
Oh man,
yeah.
Dude.
So when I think of the off season, that's what I think of.
So I've got you on here, so I'm curious. Like, obviously, we all know like you've been a Cam Newton diehard fan, like forever since day one when he entered the league.
Since day one.
Are you one of those Panther fans who thinks that Cam Newton is a legit quarterback 1 still?
Oh man, I want to say no. Just because of, I mean, like you, I've watched all the games, and that, I don't know, that's just not the same Cam that we're used to seeing. But also, our line is horrible.
Yeah.
Like, if the man just had some time, you know what I'm saying?
Yeah.
Like, if he just had some time in the pocket, I would like to see how he performs.
Yeah.
Personally. I do think that there are some quarterbacks. Maybe. I don't know. I feel like Cam is I think he's done. I mean, that's just what I think.
Yeah, I mean, don't get me wrong. I will not be surprised if, 1, the Panthers actually roster him. I wouldn't be surprised, no matter the coach. And 2, if it's not Carolina, I could still see him playing somewhere else, but I don't think you're going to see Cam as the starter going forward. Like, and I think some of that performance, I know we're getting off topic here. We weren't planning on talking about Cam Newton on this podcast. But like, I just think that, it's unfortunate because he's physically in shape. So like, he's still fast. Yeah. He's physically fit. I don't see him like injured really at all. Not that he's playing a lot
he
of
can
games.
run. That ability is still there.
The issue is he hasn't thrown a football in months. You got to think about that too. Like his first game of the season was like his preseason game, except he didn't even have like a real training camp leading up to that game. Like I'm convinced Cam Newton really didn't throw the football until he showed up in Charlotte. Like I'm totally convinced.
I'm not against signing him for like, the minimum and then, having him fight for the starting job, getting ready, this and that, having more time to recuperate and get back in the groove of the football. I would like to see, him in training camp, him in the preseason, maybe, see how he performs,
Yeah.
I'm not against that. Cam Newton's my favorite player of all time, so I wish nothing but the best for him. I hope everything works out.
Yeah. All right, we'll get back on track. So to keep it rolling, let's go ahead and dive into Little Critter Bowl. This was one of the more interesting Little Critter Bowls we've had in a while. You know what? I've got to play the music in the background. But literally, like, it was one of the more interesting ones because you had a team, BP's team, I mean, literally all season long, in the offseason, in the playoffs, like one of the favorites, kind of. Almost like a Goliath going in. I mean, a stacked team. I mean, he had all the names that you can imagine that you'd want. And then you go against Cameron, who didn't have a running back like after week 8. Because Derrick Henry goes down, and he didn't have a legit backup because you weren't planning on needing one other than for the bye week.
No. Yeah.
But it's wild that his team literally just fell apart at the end because he had been performing well throughout the playoffs. Like, wild card round, he had 334, had over 300 points.
He beat Daquan by 200 points,
yes.
Dude.
And then
crazy.
He breaks 200 again in week 15 in our divisional round. He beat Mr. 300 223 to 201. And then he beat Hash-Slinging Slashers convincingly 189 to 173. And then when he gets to the Little Critter Bowl,
that was a close one.
He gets to the Little Critter Bowl and he only gets 168. And really, Cameron, like, you did really good at streaming your running backs. And most of the weeks, or at least half the playoff games he played this year, he broke 200 without a legit running back. So I'm interested to see, because the narrative for years in this league is you've got to have a top 12 running back to win. And I've said it for multiple years, that is not the case. You need depth and you need like you can survive without a running back if you got enough pieces in other positions, and that's how you did it.
Yeah, exactly.
VP just had a bad week at the end. You know what I mean? So.
Oh, he had the better team, 100%.
Yeah,
honestly.
I don't think anyone's.
Josh Allen played horrible, and he still put up 41 points. Dalvin Cook 5, Myles Garrett 5, and then Budda Baker only 29 against Seattle. So wild stuff.
Yeah, it's I mean, Dalvin Cook getting 5 points. First of all, it's so easy for a running back in our league to get 5 points. Like
Players
do it all the time who aren't even starters.
Yeah.
So the fact that
that's like Mike Davis numbers, dude.
Exactly. It's just crazy. And then Boston Scott outscores him by 30. You literally,
dude, this is Boston Scott's best game of his season, if not his career.
Literally. He's gonna. I'm sure he may have won other people fantasy football championships out there, but. You know what's funny? He tests positive for the coronavirus, so this week he's not even going to play.
Him and Alex Singleton and Jaron Kearse is out.
Oh my god, that's crazy, dude.
And Jordan Howard is on COVID as well.
If you would have had to go one more week, I think that would have been it. You wouldn't have made it.
Done. No,
have to cut your whole
luck
team.
in the world. Yeah, you could have 100 Ground Annies. You know, luck of the Irish. It's not going to save you. Not in that situation.
No, but BP, man, you had a great run. I would say I know what it feels like. I've been disappointed every year for the past 12 years, but I'm sure it hurts a lot to get that far and then to fall apart like that. I mean, I can't imagine.
And then to trade basically trade a lot of his future, going all in on this year, and then.
In fact,
his team.
I'm about to go see what picks
he
has next year. I'm just curious now.
Yeah, I'm not. I mean, to be fair, he still can trade for them, but
yeah, I mean he's got players
trade back for them, but
he can get picks for. I mean, he's loaded.
Yeah.
Let's see. Receipt. Let me go find him. Beg for G-Rag. So currently he has a second-round pick. Okay, never mind. He actually has some decent draft capital. He has a second, a third, 2 fourths, 2 fifths, 2 sixths, a seventh, 2 eighths.
So just missing the first, basically?
Yeah. Oh, yeah. He's golden next year.
Okay, but what about 2023?
But 2023 is where it's like, yikes. Like, he doesn't pick till the fourth round.
Yeah. Oh my God!
That's the year that everyone is like super hyped up on that draft class.
Derrick Henry he'll probably be in that class.
But Derrick Henry 2 years from now, I don't think that's gonna be the same Derrick Henry anymore.
Yeah, probably.
Like a lot of these
guy's putting up insane. Yeah, running backs' lives they don't last long. I mean, look at CMC.
Yes,
he's done.
I'm interested to see if Billy tries to get rid of him at this point. I mean, he's not worth keeping.
I would.
I don't know how much he would get for him, though.
Yeah, I don't know. But I'd probably sell.
Yeah, I probably would, too. But, Cameron, congrats, man, on the little Critter Bowl. That was a heck of a run. I didn't think you had a shot. I picked against you every playoff game.
I know. I listened to every episode. I mean, I was like, what the hell is Patrick? You should know better. Because Jameson did the same thing a couple years ago.
Yeah, I picked against.
I'm not saying I had the better team, but because this made sense with BP. This made sense 100%. But that luck was just on my side. He had the better squad, so I got lucky.
Yeah,
that's all I can say.
But
I didn't understand you picking Jameson over me and picking Jordan. Come on now.
Well, no, Jordan's team was loaded, dude. I mean, he still scored over 200 points. I was not wrong about Jordan. It's just you had a really good week that week, Sometimes even when you do everything right, it still doesn't go your way. So that was kind of how it went for Jordan. But yeah, so you know what? Here's what we're going to do, Cameron.
If you want to crown them, then crown her.
You've been crowned.
Thank you.
So let's get it rolling to our first ever Pro Bowl.
Yes, please, let's talk about it.
The 2020 or 2021, technically, it's for the 2021 season. We're going to play some Pro Bowl music. backyard football.
I also want to
baby.
say this. Yes, this is great. Love backyard football. So much nostalgia. But first Pro Bowl ever, right?
Yeah, first one ever. And I don't know any fantasy league that has a Pro Bowl. I've read some articles of other people like doing it, but this is gonna be fun.
If you follow the LCC Twitter, the pictures of the owners are great.
Yeah, I totally stole their Armando's and Jameson's pictures off Facebook. I totally stalked them on Facebook and stole some pictures off there. But no, it's gonna be interesting. I mean, both guys. I mean, Jameson, I can't say that he had a good season. He had just good enough of a season to get to the playoffs, and then he went on a roll.
Literally, his team basically was BP's team. Like, seriously, like he traded so much of his team to BP.
Yeah.
Kind of crazy. If he had kept his team, who knows what could happen? He gave up too early, I felt like.
But I talked to Jameson about this, and I think there's some truth to it. I almost wonder if it's better to go into the playoffs, like kind of like almost limping into the playoffs where you barely squeezed in, and compared to being like the number 1 or maybe even the number 2 seed. Because I think that when you've had that dominant regular season to earn that 1 or 2 seed in your playoff, you kind of get complacent because, you know, the old saying is, you know, dance with the girl who took you to the dance. You know what I mean? And so why on earth would I want to cut an Alvin Kamara for, you know, a Mike Davis in the playoffs? But Mike Davis outperformed him, you know, and that 1 week.
Yeah, he did.
So I almost wonder it's better to be hungry and constantly making those moves and changes to your roster than to be the guy who's like, I won 10 games and lost 2 this year. You know what I mean?
And here's the thing. Last week you had mentioned something. A 10-win team had never won a little Critter Cup. That's
Still
crazy.
True. Still true.
So every time I've won it, I've had like 7 wins the first time, 7 wins the next time. Like I was never like a dominant regular season team because like I struggled in the beginning record wise.
Yeah.
And then I don't know. I think like Pat said, it's better to come in limping, in my opinion.
Yeah, it's weird. There's a lot of truth to it, but it's yeah. So let's go ahead and kind of talk about these rosters. So the way it worked is no different than the NFL Pro Bowl. Basically, everyone got to vote on like the top players of each position in each conference and who they thought was, you know, worthy of making our Pro Bowl. And we've already revealed this. This is not new, but just so people know. The rosters and stuff for Conference A at the head coach position, you got Armando Lopez, owner of, you guessed it, we've already talked about it like a million times tonight, but
The hat-slinging slasher!
and he's got in the flex position. It doesn't mean he has to start this player in the flex, but every team gets like 1 extra player basically just for depth purposes because of, you know, people getting benched and hurt. But he's got Roquan Smith, who's a linebacker, of course, for the Bears.
Stud.
Definitely. He's also got, at linebacker, he's got Bobby Wagner, Eric Kendricks. Eric Kendricks has been so good this year. I mean, he really helped the third leg have a great year.
Yeah. I mean, I was asking for trades. He was like, nah.
Yeah. I don't blame him, honestly. Like, he was like the number 1 guy for the longest time. And then at defensive back, he's got Kyle Duggar, a young stud from Lenore Ryan University who's dominated throughout the year. Although at the tail end, he's kind of been iffy. And I think he's actually ruled out this week. And he's got Jonathan Abram, who's had a great year. He's been pretty consistent for a while now. And then you got Cameron Hayward at defensive line, and probably the most underrated defensive lineman in fantasy football, I feel like. And then he's also got Hassan Reddick, who has had a great year for the Panthers and Burrow's body count. Although I will say he's only broken 20 points once in the past like 5 or 6 weeks. So it's been a minute. They're playing against Tampa Bay. Who knows? Divisional game, maybe he does good. And then quarterback, he's got Lamar Jackson, Kyle Allen. Did I say Kyle Allen? Listen to me.
Yeah, you said Kyle Allen. So disrespectful.
Can you imagine Kyle Allen making a Pro Bowl? I meant
Good
Josh Allen.
Lord.
Sorry. Josh Allen, who's currently leading the league for quarterbacks in our fantasy league. He's also got Jonathan Taylor, Najee Harris, Cooper Kupp, and Devonte Adams. I mean, a loaded offense. Honestly, it's
Loaded.
probably better than Conference B. What are your thoughts, though, on this team that Armando's leading right now?
I mean, dude is stacked. Devonte Adams, Cooper Kupp, Lamar Jackson, Josh Allen, Jonathan Taylor. Dude has been insane this year. And Najee Harris, really good rookie. Bobby Wagner. This is just this is a dream team right here.
Yeah,
honestly,
it's solid. Like for Conference A, like I said, I really think their offense is not that Conference B doesn't have a good Pro Bowl offense, but Conference A's offense, I feel like may have. If you're looking at the season, I'm not even talking about like this week's matchups. But it's solid. All right, let's move on to Conference B, and then we can kind of break down who we think has got the edge. But Conference B,
their defense for Conference B is insane. I just want to say that.
It's led by James Nicholas. He is a stud in fantasy. He somehow made the playoffs with a losing record. Got to the conference championship. Of course, lost to Cameron, like we said earlier. But in his flex, he has got Nick Chubb, a stud running back this year. I mean, had a crazy stiff arm the other week. At quarterback, he's got Herbert, a great young player. I think James already said that's going to be a starting quarterback. Jalen Hurts he's got, but I don't even think Hurts is playing this week. No, he's clear to play. He is going to play against Dallas. Okay.
Oh.
I'd still go Herbert. I think he's got a better matchup.
Yeah.
Running back, Austin Eckler. Joe Mixon. Joe Mixon had a revival this season, and Jameson traded him away. I'm sure he's kind of kicking himself, but he helped out 2 girls, 1 cup pretty well this season, I feel like. He was a little up and down, but for the most part, he was solid.
He helped Eddie get 3 wins. Good job, Eddie.
There you go. Now, Joe Mixon he did test positive for COVID like 2 days ago. So there's a chance he may not have Mixon, but he does have Nick Chubb still and Austin Eckler.
Yeah.
Receiver, he's got Deebo Samuel, very high on him going forward.
Yeah.
He's also got Mike Evans. Of course, you know him because your quarterback has been throwing to him all year.
And then you got to think Chris Godwin's out, and then also AB. He's been released. So
yeah. And then I mean, I think Mike could easily have a great game.
Yeah.
Defense, like you already said this earlier, but you got T.J. Watt, like the number 1 defensive line in our league. I know in some leagues he's listed linebacker.
He had like 3 sacks last week. That was wild.
Dude, T.J. Watt is the real deal, and they need him to have another good game
insane.
in the playoffs.
Yeah.
They got Baltimore in Baltimore.
They gotta win.
I think they're one of the most sacked teams in the league, so that's good for Jameson.
Yeah.
And then, interestingly enough, we've got the other Allen out of Jacksonville. Josh Allen, that is, the other Josh Allen. He's been pretty solid all year. I mean, I think he's more matchup prone though. Like he can have some bad matchups and have bad numbers. But
yeah,
I'd probably go TJ over Josh Allen, but that's the other defensive lineman. The linebacker, you've got Denzel Perryman.
If you don't go TJ, you're insane.
Yeah. Yeah, I agree. Then you got Denzel Perryman, your linebacker, Cameron, who's had a great year.
Yeah.
Playing against the Chargers, he could have a good game. And then you got, I still cannot believe that Devonte Campbell had the year that he did. Actually, I can't believe it because I kind of called it in the offseason. I told Jordan to draft him. You're welcome, Jordan. Although he lost in the playoffs, so. But he's questionable against Detroit. It's an okay matchup. It's not a great matchup. So I'm interested to see where Jameson goes there. I'd probably go Perryman, especially if Campbell's kind of banged up. Then at defensive back, you got the DB1, Derwin James, man.
The DB1.
He's been
He won.
great.
He won an award for us this year, right? In the LCC, was it Defense Player of the Year? Did we vote on that? Right?
What?
Or am I
Did
crazy?
he? I can't remember, honestly, off the top of my head. Like, I'll have to go back and look later. I'm not even entirely sure. But I feel like he was nominated for something at least. He was nominated.
Yeah.
But he's had a great year. He was on the Week 18 injury report for the Chargers. But I think he played. I'm trying to see. Derwin James practiced in full Friday. So he is 100% ready to go against the Raiders in a game where they need him to have a good game. And then you got Harrison Smith. You know about Harrison Smith. He played for you for a long time.
Yeah.
And
2 years, I think.
had a great year for Libertad Lobos, honestly. It's got the Bears. I could see him maybe getting an interception in that game. He has not scored below 34 points since week 13. He's been pretty consistent.
Jesus.
As you can tell from...
he's always been really good.
Yeah, he is. And how old is he now? Like, good Lord, he's
got to be 32, honestly.
He is, you're right. He's
Has to
32. 32 years old. Still
I
dominating.
guessed it.
Still
It's because I play
dominating.
Madden. That's how I know.
Yeah, he has been just absolutely great. So, let's talk about the actual the matchup itself. For me, when I compare the quarterbacks for this week, we don't know their starting lineups, so I don't know who Conference A plans on starting between Jackson and Allen. I feel like it might be Allen. I just think that he's been
It's
better.
gotta be Allen.
He's the number one quarterback.
Best. Yeah.
Right? I mean,
He's the highest scorer in the league.
yeah.
So you start Allen for sure.
Either playing
And
against
then
the
I think
Jets,
between-
who are terrible. But does he play this
And
week the entire game? Because I don't know if the Bills. I mean, this is an easy win. They don't need to do much. I could literally see.
You don't
Josh
worry.
Allen
You don't
getting
worry
benched.
about that. You don't worry about that. You start Josh Allen.
All right, we'll see. And Jameson, like I said, we already know that we do know the starting quarterback for Conference B, and that's going to be Herbert. He's playing against the Raiders. This is a must-win for them. We're talking about playoff implications here, so I imagine Herbert's going to have a good game. I think they could go toe-to-toe with either Lamar
Yeah.
or Josh
I think
Allen.
they'll probably. I think a lot of these are probably going to cancel. Honestly, just because of so evenly they are.
The running back part, I'm not even. Oops, I'm on the wrong page. I'm not entirely sure where Conference A goes here because you got Jonathan Taylor, who, my God, that dude's
If it's
just been
going against
crazy.
Joe Mixon, I mean, but Eckler, I think Jonathan Taylor's probably going to outscore Eckler. Either of these, really.
I think Taylor probably. I mean, Najee Harris, though. I mean, this is again like playoff implications. Like Najee could have a good game, but Jonathan Taylor.
But I'm still going to take. I'm still going to stay like regardless. Jonathan Taylor's going to take this.
This should be an easy win for the Colts. So I could see him getting a lot of garbage time, rushing yards, and stuff. So I'm going to assume Taylor, and between Taylor versus maybe who do you think Jameson starts at running back?
I mean, you got to go. I feel like Eckler's a PPR guy. I don't have the stats pulled up.
I'm pulling it up now.
But
Hassan Eckler playing against the Raiders, who have the 21st best rush defense, so not very good. They're kind of like middle of the road. But he's been getting decent amount of receptions and receiving. He had 54 receiving yards last week and 58 rushing yards.
I'm
for 30
going
points.
Eckler. I'm going Eckler over Mixon or Chubb 100%.
Okay.
Just looking at these stats.
So would you take Mixon though over Conference A's running back or a presumed running back of Jonathan Taylor? I'm going to go Taylor.
I'm going Taylor all day.
I think it'll be
over
close, but I
any of them.
think Taylor's going to get more garbage time points. Unless they bench him, like they go by a lot and they just bench all their starters. I'm going to go Taylor.
whoever he starts, I don't care. Chubb, Eckler, Mixon, he's going off.
Yeah.
I mean, he's an MVP candidate, for Christ's sake. Gotta go JT.
So receiver, Devonte Adams, Cooper Kupp.
I don't even have to look at the other receivers. I'm going Adams or Kupp here. It doesn't even matter.
Let's see. Cooper Kupp is playing against the 49ers, who actually have a top 5 pass defense. The last time they played the 49ers this year, dude, Cooper Kupp only had 31 points in that game. That's it.
That's it. Only 31. And even last week was an off week for him. 29 points. Give me Cooper Kupp over whoever the hell wants to face him. Honestly, no one's gonna outscore this man. He's just like a walking like 30, 40, 50 bomb just every week.
Yeah, I mean, honestly, Green Bay, though, they do play Detroit. And over the past 2 weeks, this is crazy. Devonte Adams has scored 98 points in 2 weeks.
Jesus, man.
He's averaging almost 50 points a game right now, the past 2 weeks.
All right, so we I'm sorry, we don't have to talk about the receivers.
So we're giving it the Conference A.
is taking this.
Okay,
yeah.
Conference A's got this. So let's go to defense now. We'll just start with defensive back. Abram and Duggar. I mean, I'm not that big on Duggar, honestly. I mean, he's had a good year, don't get me wrong, and I like him long term, but I'd start Abram over Duggar personally, just because the Chargers are going to be throwing the ball so much. I think Abram could have a really good game. I
agree.
For Conference B, Derwin James is playing against the Raiders. I actually don't like that matchup as much as I do on the flip side. But you have Harrison Smith.
But here's the thing. Derwin James is one of those people. You start him no matter what. Like, it doesn't matter, Patrick. Derwin James is starting.
I mean, you're probably right. Let's see. Last week he had 26 points against the Broncos, but that was a kind of a shitty matchup.
I know he scored like 100 in 1 week. Did he not? It was something close to that.
The highest he scored this week was only 86.
86?
Against the Browns.
Christ.
Week 5.
Lord. Dude, this guy has put up... He averages 40. So start this, man.
I mean, Harrison Smith has a decent matchup, though, against the Bears. I think he can get an interception.
Patrick.
All right. Maybe I would say Derwin over Harrison Smith, but I'm going to get ballsy. And for me personally, I'm going to give the edge to Conference A at DB for this week. This 1 week, I think Jonathan Abram outscores Derwin James.
Oh, my God. All right, you and these crazy takes. I'm going to be the realistic one here. I'm going to say Derwin James outscores either of those DBs.
All right, so let's go to linebacker now. Conference B's got Pearman and Campbell. Who would you start between the two of them?
Man.
Pearman, again, is playing against the Chargers, right? And then Campbell is playing against the Lions.
Golly, I'm going Pearman. Give me Pearman. Let's go, baby.
Yeah, I'm going to go Pearman too. I'm thinking maybe he gets a lot of tackles from them throwing the ball to Austin Eckler and stuff. So
sorry, Jordan.
Yeah, I just don't like the matchup as much against the Lions. But for Conference A, they got Bobby Wagner. There are rumors out that he may not even come back next year for the Seahawks. He is ruled out for Sunday. I don't think he's going to play against Arizona.
Crazy. Dude, the Seahawks are about to be so bad. Holy crap.
Eric Kendricks, though, is expected to play Sunday despite going on the COVID list a while back. But he's got the Bears.
All right. So we start Eric there, so that's a must start.
Yeah.
Since Bobby's not going to be playing. So Eric Kendricks versus Pearman.
I'm going to go Kendricks.
Man, I'm gonna ride it out. I'm gonna say my boy Denzel.
Okay, all right. And so last but not least, we got defensive line for Conference A. They got Hassan Reddick playing against Tampa Bay. Tom Brady doesn't get sacked much, as we know.
I'm gonna say this is another one of those situations. TJ Watt is like a different breed. He's like not even human. He had like 3.5 sacks last week. This man, like, he'll put up 70 points. It just like it's nothing.
But you got to think though, Baltimore is again one of the league leaders in sacks this year. And last time Cameron Hayward played against Baltimore this year, he had 26 points. I think he could almost go toe-to-toe, but I'm going to go TJ Watt. I'm kind of with you there. I think TJ has more sack potential, and they're playing against the same team. So I'm going to go TJ.
I don't think there's going to be a toe to be towing for for the other DE. I think TJ's he's gonna go off again.
So based off all that, who are you picking in our first ever Pro Bowl?
I hate to do this, but I'm going to go with the opposite conference of myself, and I'm going to say Armando wins this.
Okay. For me, I've got to go Conference A too. Unfortunately, I want Conference B to win, and I'll be sure to post all the rules about the Pro Bowl too, but like when we voted on all this, first of all, like both teams are playing for money still for the Pro Bowl. So there's an incentive for both these guys to win. So you get $50 if you win.
Oh, shoot.
But then on top of that, if Jameson wins, we all get a $10 discount next year for Conference B. If Armando wins, they get a $10 discount. But what does that mean for everyone else? Everyone else pays $10 extra. So I'm pulling for Jameson to win, but I'm thinking Armando wins this game, honestly.
Yeah, I'm sorry, Jameson, that you gotta lose 2 games in a row to end your 2021 season.
Yeah, it's it hurts, but no, I think it's gonna be still pretty close. I mean, both these teams are loaded. Obviously, they're Pro Bowl teams.
Yeah, obviously they're both insane.
Yeah, but I'm gonna give it to Armando in Conference A. I mean, I guess it's only fair, right? Conference B won the little Critter Bowl. But maybe Conference A gets the Pro Bowl here.
Yeah, y'all have your Pro Bowl.
Yeah,
we'll take the real thing.
Cameron will take the real thing. I want the Pro Bowl. I want a discount. That sounds nice. But yeah, that's pretty much all we got for a Pro Bowl episode here. Do you got anything you want to say before we hop off?
I don't think this will be the last time you hear from me.
Ew.
I will be back. I will be back, ladies and gentlemen. All right? You're 3-time champ.
All right. Nice. But yeah, that's pretty much all I got, guys. We are, or at least, like, you know, typical for the Commissioner's Clubhouse, we usually take the week off the week after the LCC officially like ends the postseason, which will be technically after this weekend. So I think next week we'll probably actually take our first week off in a year. And then we'll be back for the NFL divisional round. But yeah, so I think we're going to take that week off and then come back. That way I can kind of plan out the actual LCC offseason and focus on the league in itself and make sure we're ready to go for 2022 since it's already started. But yeah, that's pretty much all the announcements I got. And then once I've got all that finalized, I will release the timeline to the rest of the league. And also, we didn't really talk about. Oh, you guys talked about it. The rule changes on y'all's podcast on LCC After Dark. But we have a developmental league forming. So if you're listening to this and you're not in the LCC and you'd like to compete in the developmental league, let us know. It's a little bit cheaper than it is to join the actual LCC. It's a redraft league every year, so it starts from scratch. Scoring's the same, roster sizes are the same, and so forth. But, you know, it's redraft, so every year you get to start from scratch and kind of build the team the way you want it. So let us know.
Yeah, you're not going to be given like a crappy team. You'll be able to build your own.
Exactly.
From the ground up.
So that'll be fun. And if you're in the LCC and you're like, hey, I'd like to play the same scoring system and rosters, but doing a redraft form, you can join too. It's cheaper than the LCC. I think we voted on $30. So it's about $10 cheaper to join. And it'll be, it'll be fun. So let me know if you're interested in competing in that. Just, and you can still win money in that, of course, as well. But yeah, that's all we got for a Pro Bowl episode. We will see you guys in 2 weeks. We're kicking it old school here. We're going with our old school outro. Here we go.